do we have a, quorum? Oh, yes, we do. All right.
Yep.
Good. All right. So let's get started. I hope everybody had a good holiday.
Yep.
I'm still sound asleep, so.
Too much
Turkey
L-tryptophan.
coma.
Turkey
Yep.
coma, auction hangover.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
Lynn, that's right.
That was a
We
lot of
had a-
fun.
Wow.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Big success, a lot of fun.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, I can't believe it, really. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna call the regular meeting of the Kent Inland Wetlands Commission to order at 7 o'clock. We're on time, my God. And see if you all, up for the roll call, show that regular members, Ken Johnson, Paul Yeagood, Marge Smith, myself, Lynn Warner are here. Our land use administrator, Ty Kern, is here, and we have a number of, am I missing anybody from the commission? Doesn't look like it. And we have a number of applicants on with us as well, right? Okay. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting?
Yep. I thought they were well done. I didn't see anything amiss.
No corrections or anything like that?
Not even a spelling error?
I'll make a
So-
motion to approve the minutes of the last regular meeting.
Thanks,
As written.
Marge. Thank you. Need a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Okay, great. All right, so first up is application 1298-22 Arbor Services. And I've got a question right out of the gate. We have this very nice packet here, but Ty, is there actually a site map in the materials that show the water courses, the extent of the disturbance and the distance from the wetland or water course? Because I did not see one in my packet, but I didn't know if you had one online.
Yeah, there was 2 maps included in the
Mhm.
pack. It should be in the packet, but there's like 80 trees that they're looking to take down. And I did go out to the site and see it. And it is all, I mean, the entire property is within the regulated area. So
Of the
there's
brook or the pond or
there's-
both?
Right, there's both. There, it's kind of you come in, I don't know if you're familiar with the property at all, but you come in kind of driveway in the middle, and on either side, there's water, there's wetlands, there's pond, there's brook. There's a house on the property and a couple like campsites buildings. But yeah, there's nowhere on that property that they're not in the regulated area.
So how far back? So what I couldn't tell, so I've got this map here, which is the white one, right?
Mhm.
And then I've got this one, which shows work areas in red.
Right.
But I have no map that just kind of identifies all the wetlands on the site and identifies like how far away they're proposing to be when they're cutting trees, unless they're going right up into the wetland. Are they going right up into the, so these are
Yes, they
things that
are.
we really
Yep.
would need to know. And I just think we may need a better map so that we really understand. Are all the trees marked? Were we able to see all the trees?
So this was a couple months ago. I think the applicant is on with us tonight as well, so he can describe it. But I
Bill.
believe that some of the trees have been maybe marked by a previous somebody who was proposing the same job. So we got a good idea of what they were proposing to cut on the property. Like I said, it's along the stream bank. It extends all the way to the back of the property. A lot of the trees are trees that appear to have been planted there at one time, many years ago, but just the way the formation is, it seems as if the pines were put there on purpose. But you can speak more to Bill about that, I think.
Hi, this is Brian Burke. Philip Corsant is the owner of the land. He and I are working out an arrangement where we are the neighbors to the south. We are 131 Carter Road. And so we brought in Arbor Services, where and Bill is on the call, to draw up the proposal and prepare the application for you, the committee. It looks like Philip is not on the call, but he and I have walked the ground a lot. And what we're going to do is we are going to buy from Philip the portion of the land that has the house on it by extending our lot line. And Philip is going to donate the remaining 40 acres to what's it now called, LNC, the Weonnog Land Trust. So all of this eventually will be protected and preserved land, except for the part that has the house on it, which will be annexed to our property.
So the issue for the I'm sorry, the issue for the commission is what's being proposed to do, the work that's being proposed that could affect both the stream, the pond, and any other wetlands that are on the property. You know, our job is really just to protect the wetlands. And
Right.
So the question I would have is, I can't tell from the mapped information that I have how far away you're proposing to cut along the edge of the riverbank, how far into the wetland you're proposing to cut, what is a wetland versus a stream versus a pond. I just can't tell from the information that's been provided. So I think that's problematic, number one, and it might be helpful if we could have that in front of us for our next meeting. But the second question that I would have is, and maybe what we should do is just let Bill describe what they're proposing to do. But how many of these trees are dead and dying? How many of them are not?
All of them are dying. All of them are dead.
All the spruce are dead?
All of them.
Yeah, all
100%.
those. We can speak to this. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, everybody. Boy, I am tired. Scott Personati's here, and he's gonna speak to this as well. And then I think maybe we can can verify our assessment, and I think this might be helpful. So I'll let Scott carry on.
So the maps provided, this map here with the picture.
Yeah.
And the red lines is pretty descriptive. And the brook corridor is directly behind the house. So when you say what's in the wetlands, are you cutting in the wetlands? The entire property's in the wetlands, even the driveway. So
Well, you're in the regulated area, but you're not a fully wetland property.
you're in
Right.
the regulated area, but this
Right.
brook is extremely close to the house. So
What is the name of this brook?
no, that I don't know.
This
Wouldn't be
isn't
able to
Kent
tell you.
Falls Brook, is it?
It merges with
I
Kent
think it
Falls Brook.
is.
It merges with Kent Falls Brook.
Oh, okay.
Where does it merge?
About 300 yards down the road, down Carter Road.
Okay.
And there's a bridge. Actually, there's a bridge, right? You can probably see it on the map. There's a bridge, not even 300 yards, maybe 100 yards down the road. It crosses under Carter Road, merges
Yeah.
in with Kent Falls Brook, and then goes
Okay.
down to Kent Falls.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
that's
you.
correct. So in this picture, this shows the brook all right here. If you look all
Yeah.
along the red line here, this is all the brook, and the pond is very clear in the picture. So
Yep.
if you just look at this photo, it's very clear right here. This is all brook. And so is this pond, is a pond. So the red lines indicate where the trees are. The trees are right on the edge of the brook, maybe 6-8 feet from the edge. And they're up, the bank is kind of cut in there, so the trees are back. But none of this, when you said disturbance, we're not gonna do there's no excavation, the roots will stay intact. We're just removing the dead trees, and they're all dead or so declined that they will be dead. The spruces just have a little bit of green on top, but they're in really bad shape. The ash are just falling apart, crumbling down. So our objective is to get those out of there and not to do any soil disturbance. So the stumps, the root systems, those will all stay intact. There was some discussion about silt fence on this, but I was concerned because of the close proximity to the water. I didn't want to, you have to trench and excavate to install a silt fence properly. You need to cut it into the earth and then push the soil back over it once you install the fence. So I felt more comfortable using hay wattles where we can just take these hay wattles and just stake them down to the ground, so there's no disturbance at all. And I think that's really above and beyond concern for the water, because there'll be no digging. It's just cutting the trees down. And so when we cut these trees down, we will have to use some machinery, but we're going to keep trucks and trailers on the hard surface, which is a gravel driveway. So the truck and the chipper will be there. And then we have these small machines that we'll use to bring heavy material out. But everything's going to be hand felled and directionally felled away from water courses, because not only is it not good for the water, but it's not good for us to try to be productive. We want to get everything to come out onto the hard surface where we can work.
Can I ask you a question about this map
Sure.
that we're looking at?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a dark red line. There's a dot, and then between the brook and the dark red line, there's a dotted line. The dotted line appears to be the hay wattles. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. That's correct.
And so where are you cutting the trees? Between the hay wattles and the dark red line, or
The
between the dark red line?
the dark
and
red
the
line
pond.
is the indication of where the trees would be. So
Wait a minute,
they're,
wait. So you're cutting trees just where the dark red line is, or on one
Yes.
side of it?
yes, just where, in that particular, yes, just where the dark red line is where the trees are. I just didn't indicate all little dots, but that's exactly where the trees are located.
So where that dark red line is, moving
Yeah.
down toward the pond, no trees
Correct.
exist, so you're not taking any trees out. Is that right?
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Okay, so, all right, so if you look at, that's why I think we need a better site map here. But if
Yeah.
you look at this line, and I'm
Yeah.
following it all the way to the end of the word viewed,
Yeah,
okay? There's trees in here. Are you taking trees out here?
within the dark, no, none of that is, only where the dark red line is the tree indication. So the dark red line is just where the trees are located. There's nothing within it. It's not a perimeter or a circle. It's just, yes.
So how
Those tre-
wide a swath is this, would you say?
Well, it's,
Excuse me, Scott. If you drive by, Lynn, or if anybody, feel free to drive by, or if this engenders another site visit, that's fine too. But anyone driving by can readily see the Sleepy Hollow effect of like 40 dead spruce trees and 40 dead ash trees.
Yep. Okay. My question here is not so much questioning what you're taking out. It's that we can't tell from the site plan what you're proposing to do. And that's for me, I think we need to have that information. Otherwise,
so
it's
how can
really,
we clarify that for you? How would I better indicate that?
I think Ty can help you do that. But you would
Lynn.
show,
Lynn, could I
it-
say something? The red line is a row of trees. And each,
Exactly.
so the trees are not side by side, abreast of each other. They are along the bank of the brook. So the Arbor Services guy didn't put a dot for every tree. But the reason the reason they drew a line is because the trees are lined up in a row. Someone planted them. And they're, I'd say, every 12 feet, there's a tree. And that's how you get up to a total of around 70 or 80 trees that are going to be knocked down.
okay. So typically for a site plan for a forestry application, and definitely a site plan for a wetlands application, which this happens to be both, you would want to identify kind of the disturbed area and some dimension, 5 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet wide, and 40, 50, 60 feet long, whatever it is, so that it's clearly understood where the work will be. So when I look at this, then I go over to this red line. Again, now you're telling me, is that just another line of trees, or you're going to be cutting trees on either side of it?
The line of trees,
And then this same thing here.
line of trees. Yep.
So there will remain trees along the brook here that are not cut down.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Just the red lines are lines of trees that will be cut down. Where there is no red line, there will not be any trees cut down.
Exactly.
And the only trees you're cutting down are dead trees, it sounds like.
Yes.
It's to our.
Okay, I appreciate you taking the time to walk me through that. again, for the future, anybody who's not sitting in on this meeting would probably want to have a clearer picture, Ty, of what exactly is happening without
Yep.
having to go through that conversation.
It's an odd situation where the trees were actually planted in a row, so they are lined up exactly the way they described them today.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Google Earth and you can clearly see the trees in that line.
in each of those 3 areas.
Yeah, so looking on Google Earth without that red line, I can see the line of trees that you can, when you're looking at this map, the shot, you can see them sort of by the red line, but it's clear. It is just a line, Lynn. It's,
For all 3 red lines.
Yes. In hindsight, it would have been better if that was a transparent or translucent, like a yellow line, because then
Yeah.
you would have seen the little tree heads underneath it,
right.
or a circular, like a long oval instead of a line, because the red line actually obscures the very trees that are going to be cut.
Exactly.
Okay.
But if it's a yellow highlighted that was that was see-through, you would be able to see right underneath that line is tree 12 feet, tree 12 feet, tree 12 feet.
And the other thing that we'd like to see on a map is the distance, closest distance to, the water body, in this case, the brook. Because you're working alongside the brook in 2 different places, one closer to the house and one farther away. But it looks like you're not going to be working along the brook near the house. You're actually taking dead trees closer to Carter Road. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, that's
That's right.
correct. And the edge of the driveway, of course, there too, which you can see in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little difficult for me to work because I was using my finger on an iPad to draw these red lines. It took a couple tries. This is actually a very good version of my finger drawing.
No, and to your point, we could also make those an outline next time, a thinner outline on either side of the trees, and then delineate the width of the distance. And in the case of the spruces, the weird thing is from Google Earth, you'll see this this skirt, this 15-foot bottom of the spruce, and then but the only area that we're going to impact is this 8-inch stump. So,
Okay.
and one thing I just wanted to mention, and I think we might have talked about this in our first visit, was that there are some beneficial native wetland species all throughout this area, and it's to our benefit and to the client's benefit, and to preserve these, keep them intact, maintain them, just for the finished product and holding the bank and everything we're trying to accomplish. So, and it's just less work. We don't need to cut anything. I did promise though that if there were some invasives while we were at it, like some multiflora rose that was in the way, but for our main purpose, there's red twig dogwood, there's some other native azalea and some smaller saplings that we would definitely we want to leave intact.
Yeah. One of the things that we always get concerned about, although we appreciate the desire to remove invasives, but if you're removing them along the edge of a riverbank and you're not replacing them with native plants, we tend not to be so excited about that, because the health of the stream is dependent on having some brush and plants buffering it,
Understood.
so
For the
Yeah.
water quality, for the shade, for the
Shade,
moisture,
yeah.
Food,
all
food value,
on board
everything.
with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So do you think you'd be removing a lot of invasives along the brook?
When I just want to back up a little bit. To answer your question, no. Right off. Many years ago, we took down a tree for a client, and we said we were going to remove it. And they came back and said, you didn't remove the stump, so I'm not paying you until you remove the stump, because that's part of the tree. So now we're very careful. We say take down, and
Yeah.
we reference flush cutting the stump ground level. So in this case, we are not going to be grubbing, or as Scott mentioned, there'd be no excavating or no digging. So I've left euonymus, where it was all we had. I mean, it's not, I know people hate it, or Barberry even, but,
Yeah.
but if that's all you got, that's,
And the other thing, I'm gonna interrupt here. I think where Bill's talking about the invasives is up in the red line above the house and driveway, which would be up here, not down by the brook.
I can't, are you talking about up here?
Exactly, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, that other section, there's not, the only thing along that brook corridor is where those spruces are. There's really not much in there for invasives. And there's quite a bit out by the road, but that's not part of this. This is just this area up here that he was referring to.
Okay. Okay. Paul or Ken, do you have other questions?
No,
I
I
have
think
no
you did a
questions.
pretty good job of covering it.
I
Okay,
drove by this morning and the whole area is really thick with wood. So I think the amount of trees that would be removed wouldn't be a significant impact on the overall scene there. I understand where what you're kind of saying, Lynn, is about we need to know the 200 feet thing. And the 200 feet line isn't designated on this picture, but it's all pretty close to the water. So it's, I
yeah,
don't,
it sounds like this
Yeah.
whole thing is within the 200 feet. The other
Yeah.
thing that we need to know is how close to the waterway ultimately are they going to get? When you said, Ty, that they were going to be removing trees from the wetland, what were you talking about?
Well, they're right along the water course there, so they are, to me, I think they're right in there, up in there, definitely close. But I mean, I can work with them to get that better defined on the map for the next meeting, and how long the distance of the trees, that stretch is going to be, and how far from the wetlands.
But you would agree that they were all dead?
They were in bad shape, yes, absolutely. And like I said, it's clear that they had been planted there, so they didn't naturally kind of occur there. They were set there for some reason by somebody in that line along the waterway. And they've been there for a very long time.
Yeah,
And they've run their course.
2 of the full-grown spruces have already fallen over. Big one,
Yeah.
like big, 50 feet high, have fallen over, and the roots have come out.
yeah. So typically unless there are any other questions from the commission, typically what we would do is make a motion to hold this to our next regular meeting, and then take action at that meeting. So from your time frame, sounds like you're thinking about doing this in January. That would be okay. Okay.
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
It would. I
Okay.
think the next meeting is this early, like mid-December or something.
It
December
should,
20th.
actually,
What's
I
the
don't,
date? Yeah.
what is the date? Gets a little screwed up with the holiday, I think.
It's always
we have
earlier.
we have it on one of our papers here.
That's for next
Uh,
year, I think.
For
Ken,
that
what's your-
next meeting, would you like me to provide another map, or is this map adequate now that we've discussed it?
No, I think we really, for the record, need to
You-
have
yeah.
what we would expect from any applicant so that it's in the file. And if we all get hit by a meteor or something, somebody else could follow it,
Okay,
who hadn't been part of this conversation.
okay.
Yeah.
And
The next meeting is December 19th.
Okay, good.
I would just add to that a little, that we don't have a problem. My client hasn't asked me to go cut all the dead trees in the wetlands. Most of these are within striking distance of someone on the property or a structure or the power lines or Carter Road. So it's kind of like an expense and maintenance. But as you pointed out, we're entirely within the regulated area.
Yeah.
Thank you for your help and consideration.
Thank you for taking the time to explain it. Appreciate it. Any other questions?
No?
Well, if not, then sounds like we can take a motion to schedule this for the next regular meeting with that
I'll make a
additional
motion.
information.
Yep, I'll make a motion to, excuse me, table application 129822 to the next regular meeting
Thanks,
with
Marge.
improved demarcation on the map.
Thank you.
Improved
And second?
marcation, whatever the.
That's
correct
okay.
word is.
Any second?
Seconded.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Okay. Thanks a lot, you guys. We appreciate your being here
Thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
See you later. Okay, we're gonna move on to application 129922, Ashley and Ryan Williams. Well, is anybody here for the applicant?
Hi, this is Ryan. I'm on, and Jason Gray is, Jason, I believe you're on as well, who's been working with us on this.
Yes,
And Ty, did you want to kind of kick this off or?
Only that, this is the Williams Pond, and I see from the file that it's come before you for treatment on different occasions. So it's been a pond that's been, under your scope as far as it's treated, I think, occasionally. And now it seems like it has filled itself in with silt. So they're looking to take care of that.
Yeah, I can provide background too if helpful. Let me know, Lynn.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Why don't you walk us through it?
Okay, so we closed on the property in December 2020. So we've been here for 2 years. The pond, the water level is very low, and and it has all kinds of growth in it and plants grown in it, like cattails or whatever. And we did apply for an application to treat it. We never ended up to Jason and getting a second opinion on it. It seemed like the bigger problem is we actually discovered there's a drainage pipe on one side of the pond. And the drainage pipe, if this is supposed to be the top, the drainage pipe actually has a big crack in it, a couple feet below. And so that's why the water level is low, is the pond, the water is going out the broken drain. So our first, order of business, we'd like to just fix the drainage pipe that isn't working back to its original kind of dimensions, so that we can, the water will fill up again rather than we'll have a half full pond. And then I guess, Jason, I'll let you, what you would do to help clean it up and improve the water quality as well.
yes. The existing pipe is rotted out. That's why the water is at such a low elevation right now. All we'd like to do is basically scrape the bottom out a little bit and replace the pipe, remove the organics from site. There's not an actual stream or anything running into the pond right now. It's only I would say, a heavy rain, the runoff from the driveways and so on. There's no actual brook or stream running into it. I think there might be a little bit of water that's coming out of the ground. That's about all you're getting there now.
Where are you going to take this stuff?
I got a couple places that mix it with their topsoil. I give it to people, because it's kind of organic. Like New Milford Farms, they do things. I mean, anybody that does topsoil, they just let it dry out and mix it with their topsoil.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Curious. So there'll be nothing stored on site. It'll
No,
be
I
trucked.
might have to just leave it in a pile just to let it dry out just a week or two, and then remove.
where is that pile gonna be, just out of curiosity?
It would be on the, I would say on the west side towards the driveway. So it could just, lighten up a little bit, because it's very heavy, when it's wet.
So just out of curiosity, would you be putting some hay bales around that or doing something just in case we had a big storm?
Yes, I'd put some silt fence around it. Again, there's
Could you-
lawn around the whole pond, pretty much. Everything is maintainable. And again, there's no stream running through there or a brook.
So Ty, could you work with Jason just to identify where that spoil area will be and where the silt fence will be?
Yep.
On the map?
Yep.
Well, this seems pretty straightforward to me, but I'll shut up and see if anybody else has any questions.
No, it's okay to me.
Ken?
I have no questions.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else, Ryan or Jason, that you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yes,
Ty?
I think we appreciate your time and thanks for listening to us.
Yeah. So again, we would table this application and take action at the next regular meeting, which is December 19th. Is that okay? I mean, does that fit in your time frame?
That worked for me.
Yeah, us too. Thank you.
Okay, so we
Thank you
just
very
need a
much.
motion. You're welcome. Thank you. We need a motion to table the application to the next regular meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Seconded.
thanks, Ken. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention? Okay, great. So barring any other issue that comes up, we'll either see you or you'll hear from us right after our meeting on December 19th.
Okay, perfect. Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye. All right. Application 129722, and this is Brad Lerman. And were we waiting for anything additional on this?
Don't think
Yeah, I
so.
think you were happy with the application at the last meeting.
Yep.
Yeah,
You just wanted to see us again.
yeah.
It's not me, Hilton. He's far better looking.
Okay. And there's been nothing that's changed since, right?
Hopefully. No, I sure hope not. Yeah, we're excited, and the kids definitely would be excited because we promised it in a newsletter. So.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Any other questions from Marge or Ken or Paul?
Nope.
No questions.
Okay, it seems like we're ready to take action. So could someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve application 1297-22.
Thanks, Paul. Second?
Seconded.
Thanks, Ken. Any further discussion? All in favor? Say
I
aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention? Okay, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Does this mean that you're all gonna actually come to camp this summer and climb up the wall and go down the zip line because you're all invited to, and it's a lot of fun? I'm not even joking.
Donna promised in retirement that she would do it, so we're very excited.
If she does it, I'll go with her.
You got a
Everyone-
deal, Lynn.
Everyone's
Oh,
invited.
no.
Wait,
All right,
for real,
thanks a lot,
please-
you
please
guys.
come. I hope you guys come to see it and actually come up the wall. It will be cool. I don't even like heights, and I'll do it.
You don't have to go up the wall, you can just come visit too. That's
There
okay.
we go.
I'm
How
good.
high is the wall? How high
28
is
feet.
the wall?
28 feet.
Oh,
Oh. Sounds
That's
like
not
fun
so
to me.
bad.
it's not
It's
right.
not so bad until you're up there.
Yeah, exactly.
All
And you
right, thanks
jump
again.
off.
Thank you
Right.
so much.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I have written regular meeting schedule, which we have. Anybody have any problems with this? I know it's a little early to be figuring this out. My only problem might be the end of August. Because I really am hoping to go on vacation this summer.
Jeez, Lynn, wow.
I know, it's been a long time, let me tell you.
Easy.
Um, Do we need to adopt? I can't remember. Do we need to make a motion on this?
Make a motion to approve, please.
Okay,
So moved.
thanks, Paul.
And then,
Oh, thanks, Ken. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Abstention? Okay. Election of officers. Oh. I nominate Ken for chairman.
no,
Well, here's a question for everybody. First of all, I think we're a fantastic commission. We each bring a different perspective and we each bring different knowledge. And I, for one, am very grateful that you guys want to continue to serve. And I hope that remains the case through the next year, because this would not be an easy job without you guys. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just want to say thank you. And I want to beg you to stay. Okay.
Well, thank you, Lynn.
Yes.
You absolutely. I'm still staying.
So will you be vice chair?
I will for one more year. And the only reason I'm hesitating is that, and I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think it's just aging. My memory is getting so bad. I
Oh,
really,
come on.
I
It
would
can't be
worry
worse
about,
than mine.
I would worry about some of the cases, one or two in particular. I would not feel competent in running meetings in your absence in some cases. I just don't feel that my brain is up to it. But in the
Well-
meantime, I'm not going anywhere. So
Okay, I hear what you're saying. And
Yeah,
I know
I'll
that Paul has stepped in the past. It's just that Paul has such, the life of a traveler, I think we have some good folks that could step in, and Anthony, although he's very quiet, I sense still waters run deep. So he might be able to pitch it, right? Once in a while.
Well, he's not here tonight, so why don't we nominate him?
yeah, he is.
He's here now.
Oh, wait,
He is
oh, wait.
here.
Here he comes.
Look, we have two Kens here. Which Ken are you talking about?
I'm talking about Anthony.
Anthony. Oh, okay,
Anthony,
yeah. I vote for Anthony.
Anthony's here. I think we're gonna get Anthony to speak up.
And I
What,
can't,
what would it entail?
it depends on what you're running for. Would you consider being chairman of the commission?
Oh, I don't know about that.
What are the other, we've got
Well, vice chair.
vice chair. What are the other positions that we have to have?
I don't know that you need a secretary.
I think that's it.
You even have one now? I thought it was
No.
just chair and vice
I think
chair.
it's just chair and vice chair.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on the bylaws. So you would need to read your bylaws to see what you need according to the bylaws. And I
I don't-
don't know if an alternate can hold a,
That would have to change. Yeah,
Right.
I think Anthony would have to become a regular member.
right,
So we need one more regular member, don't
We
we?
do. We do.
no, you need an alternate.
Oh,
You need an alternate to replace Hillary.
Oh, our other Ken is now a full-time member. That's right. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. If what we need right now is a chair and vice chair, and Marge is willing to do it for another year, we should just go on notice that we may need a pinch hitter
Yeah.
occasionally, and that we should be thinking about maybe changing that up, a year from now. So in the meantime, if we don't need anybody else, and we know that we can rely on Paul, potentially, occasionally, I'm willing to continue for another year too.
okay.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Lynn.
Well, it's fun and easy with you guys. You're like my
Well,
social life. No, well, actually,
I think between the commission and the office, our two wonderful ladies, we do just fine. I'm really, I feel like I've been on this, either this or planning and zoning forever.
yeah,
Lynn, you too. And I really like what we have right now. I think
I
it's
do
working
too.
really well. So
yeah.
thanks,
So let me
everybody.
ask, do we need to take a formal vote or do we just need to?
Yeah, why don't you just make a motion to move forward the existing slate of officers?
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. Ken, you want to make that motion?
Okay, I'll make that motion. I vote that we continue with the existing offices for our next sessions.
Okay. A second?
I'll second.
Paul?
Okay.
Thanks.
Paul got
Any
there
further
first.
discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. Okay, very good.
And thanks,
So-
Anthony, for even being willing to consider it.
You're
That's
welcome.
okay. We have
Yeah.
that on tape. So we won't forget. Donna, are you, or Ty, is Donna your new assistant?
Yes, and her first day
Yay!
back was today,
Yay.
so.
Excellent.
excited.
Excellent, excellent.
That is so
Thank-
great, Donna. I wish I'd known that at the beginning. I said hi, Donna, but I didn't announce you officially. I'm so
I thought she
glad.
just made me, she missed us all and just wanted to stay here.
Yes,
Nope,
Doing
That's
the
really-
fun of it now.
that's really
Great.
good news. Did that need to be approved by anybody or just the job description needed to be approved and you were free to hire?
We had to recommend to the Board of Selectmen after we received our applications, who we'd like to hire, and they approved it, so.
Oh, that's super. So how many hours a week? I'm trying to remember, Donna. How many hours a week is that for you?
So it'll be 15 hours a week, and Ty and I chatted, and I'm gonna work all day Monday. And then I'm gonna work Tuesday afternoons and Friday mornings. And then do the 2 meetings per month.
Great.
That
So
is
15
super.
hours for the week. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. So, I think
Oh.
it'll be,
Part-time
Yeah.
job. Yay.
yeah. And a
All
good
right.
who says, take any time you need off, it's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's great. We're really glad to see this team.
Yeah, it's
Anything
good for
else
that.
anybody else wants to say?
I do have one last thing, and you may or may not be aware of it. It's been going on, I guess, a couple of years in the town of Dover, over the border. There's a big project. It's called the Harlem Valley Homestead County Inn and Conference Center. It's a big project. I think there's some existing buildings, and then they're going to add additional buildings. The people over on that side of the border are a little riled up about it, and they've contacted the land use office and the selectman's office, and there is an upcoming public hearing. I looked into it. I don't know how much jurisdiction really the Wetlands Commission has or the Planning and Zoning Commission have. Sherman did write a letter because they also border the area, wrote a letter over to them, about it with noting their concerns. I don't know if you guys have been aware of it or if you've been following along at all, or if you'd like more information, I'd be happy to provide that to you, but I just thought I'd throw it out there so you know what's going on.
What are the concerns that people have?
So I think there's a couple things. So I think that the view shed, there may be some trees coming down that would affect the Appalachian Trail, the view shed from there.
Yeah.
And that's, even though that property falls in Kent, it's not really, it's federal property. So, they can address that from that level if they'd like to. And then there was a concern about the amount of fishing along that, is that the 8 Mile River up there?
It's
10
the
mile.
10,
10
it's the 10 mile. It's
10
the
miles,
10 mile.
okay.
You're close.
So there was one of the people the only person who had contacted the land use office is a realtor from down in the area that may live over there as well. He had some concerns with the additional amount of fishing and use of that area, which again, it's for everybody to use, it's right. So anyways,
So-
I'm just bringing it to your attention and you can choose to do whatever you want with that.
So if the commission decides it wants to get involved, I would recuse myself from that because we are, the 10 miles part of the Houstonic watershed. We
Right.
have an office over there and we have been working in the state approval process, the seeker process that they have over there to analyze the application and provide comments about where improvements could be made. We have not taken a position for or against it at the moment. It's really kind of an improvement process. It's a very complicated area. It is a very it is the economy
where-
of the area is
Just where is
driving
it
a lot
exactly
of
is it
the,
located?
it's right on the 10-mile river. If you take the, let's see, if you go over by, what do they call that? Dogwood Corner or whatever?
Dogtail Corner?
Dogtail Corner, and you come out where the old furniture store used to be, and you come to the stop sign.
Hmm.
If you were to go out to 22, you'd hang a right. Instead, you take a left,
Oh, oh,
and then you take almost an immediate left, and you follow the stream, and it's
Oh,
on that
wow.
dirt road.
okay.
And the economy of the region is really struggling right now between a very rural economy and folks who would like to see it become much more of a tourist destination like the Litchfield Hills or the Berkshires. And the tension between the two is pretty significant. And the other option is that the whole place will be developed for for housing, and there's a lot of people who would rather see that than see areas conserved and used for recreation. And then, of
Mhm.
course, there's other people that are concerned about the fact that, well, does that mean that only the people who pay money to stay at this place can fish in this stream? And it becomes a
Right,
very
yeah.
complicated,
Oh, boy.
issue.
Is this area close to the institution over there on Route 22
It's in the other direction.
north?
Which
Off
is,
of
I'm sorry, which
55.
institution, I should ask? Which,
Yeah, the old nut house.
no. This is
It's off of
this is right on the
55.
10-mile river.
I'm not familiar with the 10-mile river.
So if
Well,
you,
where the tavern is, what do they call that tavern on the river there?
The Riverview,
Is that what it is? The Riverview Tavern?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
yeah,
This would
But
be,
it's-
so you would drive past the Riverview and come, if you were heading to New York, the Riverview would be on your right.
Yes.
You come to a stop sign and you
Uh-huh.
hang a left. Is that right? Am I correct?
Yes.
I
Oh,
thought
no.
that,
no,
I thought that if
You
you
don't have to
went
go that
out
far.
to the end of Dogtail and then
That's it.
make
That's right. That's what you do.
if you make the
Drive
left
back to
just
Sherman.
after Hunt Country Furniture,
Exactly. Thank
make a
you.
Yeah,
left
going
there
back
on
towards
on
Sherman.
55, isn't that? That takes you
Yes,
back
yes,
towards
it is.
Gaylordsville.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
And then
Oh,
it's
And then you
okay.
make an immediate
off
left
of-
again on this dirt road, and this dirt road is where the Harlem
Okay.
Valley Homestead would be.
Now I know where you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, so it's a little bit, is that south or west of
That's-
that tavern?
that,
east.
that would
East?
be wet. The tavern would be west of the area you're talking about.
Okay.
correct. Yeah,
Okay. So I'm not saying that the commission shouldn't. I'm just saying that if we get into a conversation where the commission is considering taking a position, I would have to recuse myself, which is fine. No big deal.
but how does this really affect us?
It flows, the 10-mile river flows into the Housatonic River at
At
Bulls Bridge.
Right, okay,
So, theoretically, if the commission was concerned
Impact
about
on
water
the-
quality,
okay, got it.
it would impact Kent, at least in that area.
Okay,
But
Does it
that's
come in at
still-
Bulls Bridge or does it come in at closer to Gaylordsville?
no, it comes in down south of Bulls Bridge.
Just
Okay.
below Bulls Bridge.
Have you ever been down there? It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, I think I
Absolutely
have.
stunning place.
It's spectacular.
Yep.
Yeah.
But shouldn't they be contacting the DEP and not the town of Kent? I mean,
Connecticut, the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection has no jurisdiction as a state agency. They can comment on what might occur. I mean, but they don't have any jurisdiction, and the state to state agency conversations don't really happen. I mean, we
Okay.
think about the 10-mile river, the 10-mile watershed as a kind of an orphan. We
Right.
have fought things. The
Wow.
state of New York had designated a huge area farther upstream as a as a demolition waste disposal place,
Oh,
where they
geez.
were literally bringing stuff from 9/11, just piles of toxic stuff and
Oh, my
dumping.
God.
And we actually had to, threaten to take them to court to get them to stop doing that. But even
Wow.
in that case, the state said they would join us, but they would not reach out, our state to their state.
Right. And what about First Light?
They don't care about
Because
water quality.
part of that area is involved in the FERC license for First Light. So where they
Oh.
need to provide some type of recreational use of that area, otherwise First Light gets fined and they could possibly lose their FERC license.
Yeah, but I don't think that this homestead thing would have any, I mean, the only way this would have an impact on that would be if they were going to destroy the water quality.
Right.
And I don't think you can make a case for that.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're thinking of damming up the river and possibly slowing
no.
down flow
No.
or anything like that. I
No.
would think that because First Light has the right to flood all of that in order to provide electricity, should electricity be needed. But I was just curious whether or not they would be someone that would be involved in this as well. That's all.
So the FERC permit for the hydro plant there is pretty clear about what they can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And the upstream impact of flow, I guess the extent to which it would affect their FERC permit is something that would go before the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission.
Yeah.
But I don't see how you could, based on what I know about the application, I don't see how you could make a case that these cabins on the hillside
Right.
are going to affect flow of water.
Right.
Unless, they start polluting it or unless they start putting things into the septic system or, I don't see how you could make a case for that. The quality of the water maybe, but the flow of the water, I just don't see how you could.
Okay, I was just curious as to whether or not they would need to be, because anybody that does any work from the bridge on Bridge Street down to Bull's Bridge has to get a permit from First Light first.
Yeah, we had that
Oh.
case a few years ago.
Right. So
Yeah,
I was
but
just curious to,
This is well outside the boundary of their project.
okay.
It's
Okay.
well upstream. It's a much more intensive use of the property, and I think
Mhm.
that scares people. There is the potential to change the area, which right now is beautiful. It's a beautiful old farm.
Mm-hmm.
I think the view shed issue is an important one for folks who are visiting other places that have been protected because of that view, or that's part of the reason. I
Right.
think those are legitimate arguments. But again, we're in the middle of this and there's still so many unanswered questions that we're still waiting for answers to.
Yeah.
I think if the commission's really interested in this, we should follow up on what ties the person who contacted us and see who the other organizations are that are opposed to it. I haven't heard of any except the local kind of local citizens groups, but there could, maybe the AT folks are opposed to this. I don't know.
Right.
And that'd be a good thing to find out.
How extensive is these buildings they're putting, how big are they?
They're
What are they
cabins.
planning?
They're
Oh, just
cabins, but there's
cabins?
many of them. Yeah, but there's many
Oh.
of them. It's a hillside. It's a fairly steep hillside. And it comes right down to the river. And
I see.
I think they're talking about 20 along that hillside.
Wow.
I can't remember exactly, but it's not a little thing, It's not huge, but it's not little.
I can see where the local neighbors might not like anything like that there,
Yeah.
but it sounds like a pretty good place to vacation.
Yeah, I mean, it's that
But,
kind of yin and yang. Yeah.
Oh, I
see
it. I see it on the map.
see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Old farm, beautiful spot.
Right.
I think it used to be an old fish hatchery, a dentist.
Was it?
Yes, a retired dentist owned it, and he grew fish
Oh.
in the barns. I think this trout, rainbow trout, and he had all these little fish tanks in there.
No kidding.
Very, very. I met the guy a few times. He's very nice. Well, he's passed away now, but
So you're familiar with the property.
yes, yes.
So what do you think about a bunch of little cabins on the hillside there?
I mean, it's at the end of the road. So it's a quiet dirt road. I mean, there's definitely a lot more traffic impact, and
Yeah.
it is still, it's like intensified farming, and I guess the glamping aspect is thrown in there to make it more sustainable as a business. But I mean, compared to other uses going to Dover right now, it's not the worst thing. I mean, we're fighting power plants and the like coming in. So, to pick my battles, and I don't know. I think it could be good. It's a farm, and they're trying to educate people on farming uses and bring people back to nature. So, I don't know too much about the cabins, but from what I
I
can
was just
tell,
gonna ask, are they gonna be seasonal cabins or year round?
I feel like they're seasonal, but they still need to deal with the issue of septic because it's going to be a much more intensive use, even if
Right.
it's just, 3 seasons. But that's a good question.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Who's gonna be the ownership of this project?
It's a young couple that own it now. They bought the property. I can't remember his name. I should remember his name, but I can't.
Oh, it doesn't
Um,
have anything to do with that group that over by the power plant? I don't know what kind of group, I think they're some kind of cult, I think.
No. Yeah,
They took
no, they're
over
not.
they took over the golf course, and the golf
Yeah.
course is still there, but I can't play it. I went in one day and they threw me out.
Oh, you're talking about it up by the railroad station, behind the station.
Yes, yes. I thought maybe
Um,
it would be the same people that are doing this cabin
No.
deal, but
Yeah, no, this is a young couple that own the property. I know who you're talking about. I can't remember who those people are.
all of that.
The owners are listed as Nono's Garden LLC and Arna's Nest LLC.
You're talking about the homestead,
I
Highland Valley?
think they're
What it says
Moonies.
on the.
I think they're Moonies at the other site. Yeah,
Yes,
not
Right.
at Harlem Valley Homestead, but at the other site. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at Wingdale, the old Wingdale facility.
right.
It has the same name as a college in Illinois, and the college in Illinois gets very angry when people compare them together. So there's the whole big thing trying to get them to change their name, but they're gosh, now I can't think of the name of them, but they
Well,
are
yeah.
they are operating at this point in time in the back buildings, and they're starting to clean the ones in the front.
Mm,
I think they call themselves Olivet.
that's it, Olivet.
All of that, that's right.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah. So,
Okay, well, anyway. Anything else? Okay, well, listen,
No.
it was nice to chat with you guys.
Yeah,
And we were done pretty quickly, but then we got off on another subject, so,
that's okay.
yeah. So I guess we can make a motion to end this meeting.
I
Anyone?
make a
Supposed to.
motion that we adjourn our meeting this evening.
Thank you. Second? Come on, Paul, I know you wanna.
Marge got it.
Marge got it. All in favor, say goodbye. All right, thanks you
Goodbye.
guys.
See you
Thanks
next
a lot.
time.
Have a
See you
good
next
night.
month.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Bye.
Ty, I'll see you Thursday.
Okay, have a good one.
Thanks, bye.